Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first show of Precision Hoops with your host, the Hoop God, my man Steam Engine. How's everybody doing today? We got a great topic to discuss. Steam, introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, what's up, everybody? In typical Black people fashion, the show was supposed to start at 6, but here we are, 12 after 6. So 6-ish is when we would like to start this show. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate the patience as we work all this out and figure out what we're doing. And Hoop God, good to see you. How are you,
Likewise,
sir?
man, I'm great. Matter of fact, let me mute my background just a second.
And while you're doing that, shout out to Michael Jordan. Fans are the best, along with that entire crew. Uh, we are. Never mind. I was about to take something from sports and fitness, but I'm gonna let him. That's his tagline.
Oh
We're
yeah,
happy to be here. We
most
are
definitely.
happy to be here.
Most definitely.
Do you wanna introduce kind of what we're gonna talk about? I know we're living in a time where we have to give trigger warnings and preface things, you know, as this is not just basketball. It's kind of a little bit beyond that. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce this thing, and I'll just piggyback off of that. But I want to be respectful of kind of people's feelings and racial harmony and all that fun stuff.
Gotcha. So the topic we'll be discussing today, of course, we're just gonna address the elephant in the room. Why is the media playing these political mind games with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? And this is my contention. I like both players. I thoroughly enjoy the game of basketball. Okay, I love to see great basketball. I love to see the different types of basketball. You have two players who are diametrically opposite of one another. You have Caitlin Clark, who brings one aspect to the game. You have Angel Reese, who brings a different aspect to the game. The problem that I have is why does the media proactively play the favoritism game? And again, I don't buy into that because I feel like I can make my own independent evaluation of both players. If Caitlin Clark plays bad, I'm going to criticize her. If Angel Reese plays bad, I'm going to criticize her. Same thing if they play good. I'm going to give them props. But when we're dealing with this new age and this media, it's like they want to shed a light on a particular player, and they'll pick and choose who they want to shed the good light on versus who they'll shed the dark light on. So that's my vote of contention. But no, Spam, I want you to go further since you were the one who initially brought this topic to my idea. You asked for how would I evaluate and how I would break it down, which that's what I'm looking at. But I want you to go more in depth so that our viewers can get a better understanding of what we will be discussing.
So yeah, thank you. So to your point, it's not just about basketball when you're talking about these two individuals that are both incredibly talented. Um, it's evolved to the same colorism, racism, bullshit, politics that is so outside of basketball. That's where we are. And I thought it was funny just because you appear to be a dark skinned individual and I appear to be a light skinned individual, especially in this lighting. So we historically aren't even supposed to get along. If you talk to our ancestors from the early 1900s. um, so I thought it was just funny to just kind of maybe poke fun at it, but also point out some just crazy coincidences. Um, if you look at the numbers of both players, right, like they're both killing it. I think that I don't know how hot of a take this is. I think that if Caitlin Clark was black, this wouldn't even be a conversation. Um,
I
I
agree.
think. Oh, you
I
okay?
agree.
Good. I think that the perception of having a white player be more in demand than a black player when they're both comparable
Yeah.
is going to be alarming to a lot of people that have um, that are maybe not strong enough to take a stance one way or the other, right? I think
Yeah.
in a vacuum, and this is just my opinion, I think Caitlin Clark is far and away the rookie of the year. I think that when you have to start talking about like win shares and PERs and things like, oh, I almost quoted your boy. I almost said things of that nature. Um, when you start having to talk about advanced stats, I think that you're trying to justify an argument uh, for Angel
Oh,
Reese.
what's up, Go Cass? Yeah, we
Yeah. Oh,
see.
what's up, GoCast? I think you're trying to justify an argument for Angel Reese because the numbers may not be there. And the justification for that argument, unfortunately, is she's a black female in a rookie of the year race. And we live in very volatile times where it goes beyond just the numbers. But I mean, we can delve into that further. I took some screenshots of some stats. I want to get into the Angel Reese injury. I want to get into the that unrivaled league that's supposed to be starting up in January that she said or that she alluded to that she was playing. It's not guaranteed, but I want to get into some stats about that, some facts about that. Um, but let's just keep it going. Is there anything light you want to get off your chest, or anything funny, positive? Not that this is a negative, but anything that you want to speak on before we delve into what could be sensitivity?
Um, Not necessarily. But what I will say is now, when it comes to those advanced stats, let me say this. I do feel like they have a place there. They are necessary. My only thing is when people attempt to, how am I trying to say this? Cross compare positions, right? I feel like with the
Mm-hmm.
advanced stats, compare guards to guards. Don't compare a guard to a forward or a guard to a center. The reason being is that the guard is always going to be at a disadvantage to the big man because he's going to impact rebounding, he's going to impact block shots, he's going to impact scoring, which is going to necessitate a higher field goal percentage, and he's going to impact turnovers in a sense that he's not going to commit as many turnovers as the guard, seeing that when he has the ball, he's not taking no more than maybe one or two dribbles at best. So he's not going to have the propensity to turn the ball over. Now, when I contrast that to guards, I like that better because that's the same position, and now you can see who would be more efficient. So if I would take a Caitlin Clark versus I would say the other girl, Kennedy Walker. I'm just throwing a name out there. Without looking at those stats, I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark is probably blowing her out the water. Now, if we compare Angel Reese's advanced stats to Caitlin Clark, well, no, because again, Angel Reese is a front court player. So a lot of those advanced stats, especially PER, probably going to be higher, more often than not, especially her field goal percentage. I know that for sure. Unless
Of
Caitlin
course.
is doing some Steph Curry type stuff, I would just have to go out on a limb and say that Angel Reese has a higher field goal percentage. But you have those readily available, don't you?
So it's funny. So I have Angel Reese's. She's 13.6 points per game. So this was as of September 8th. 13.6. Oh, she's not playing no more. Never mind. 13.6 points per game, 13.1 rebounds per game, 1.9 assists per game. Right, and those are dope stats. Like, let's
Yeah,
not get it twisted. But it's wild, like you said, to cross compare positions. Like, obviously, Caitlin Clark's not going to come anywhere near 13 points or 13 rebounds a game. Like, what? I don't even understand why it's being brought up in conversation. And quite frankly, Angel Reese averaging 2 assists a game isn't relevant either. She's a big man. Like,
yeah,
you're putting numbers out there, and you're not giving context. Not actually that dissimilar from the NBA. And
yeah.
let's see. Actually, I think War is that War. Okay, yeah, War by Deception said it actually in the chat. It's and I think actually somebody might have brought it up before too. It's just a race war, at least in my opinion, to build up an audience
Yeah.
because Americans are weird, right? It's like it's like the basketball version. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack, but whatever. It's like the basketball version of like Hip Hop Wives or Bad Girls Club or whatever bullshit show comes out because that drama sells.
Yeah.
The actual product, no disrespect to the WNBA, isn't as entertaining by comparison to the NBA. But if all we had was the WNBA, we'd be like, yo, they're killing it out there. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't. We have a superior product that just happens to be played by men. And that's a fact. Like that's not like you can look at the numbers, the money behind that, and know that that's a fact. But unfortunately, just saying that's not enough, right? So we forever have to make those comparisons, and because the product isn't as great as the NBA, they have to, do all this other drama to increase the audience. And actually, the NBA is not that far off. Don't get me wrong. I mean, LeBron's not in the league for his talent. He's in the league also because I shouldn't say also because I don't feel he's talented anymore. He's in the league because he's a draw, right?
Yeah.
Like his very presence brings drama. His very presence brings polarity on both sides. So naturally, that's gonna sell. So I think that's where we are. And again, we're selling stuff based on drama, and that drama is pushing us further apart, just like it always does. And it's no longer about basketball. It's race.
Yeah. So I wanted to address. Well, first I'm seeing the comments. So guys, bear with me. I'm gonna just get to y'all individually. I think it was Slow Mo Gaming. He gave us the first shout out. Hey, appreciate you guys. Let's see. Sentiment football, great topic. Yeah. Okay. That's the one I wanted. My bad.
Take your time, bro.
Daniel Jett. Now, I partially agree with what he's saying. He said they got to build up the fake hype for their. I'm not going to say the word. I'll say this. Individuals like you, myself, several others, we can see the forest of the trees, right? We see what the media is doing. Now, credit, the WNBA is starting to, they're starting to get a little bit more popular. I'll give them that. With this whole Angel Reese Caitlin, what I don't like is how it's being popularized. It's almost like you're trying to build a rivalry, like an unnecessary rivalry that's a carryover from college. Now, this is my thing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Bird and Magic not have a similar rivalry, but there was not this added element from the media trying to pit the two against each other? Now, when they played in college and then they played in the All-American game, right, they were on the same team. But Bird kind of wanted to keep his distance from Magic. Not that he didn't like him. Just as a competitor, he wouldn't want to get close to him. Magic was always the kind of, hey, smiling, which I kind of think Magic was doing a little bit at Sun Tzu. It's like, hey, I'm going to be friends with you, but on the court, I'm trying to cut you, I'm trying to rip your head off. But I look at those two individuals, right? You have their dynamic. It's like diametrically opposite of this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. It's like they want them to be enemies. And it's like, why? Like, why can't they just have a healthy rivalry? When they play each other, we know the ratings are going to go through the roof. But like, why do you guys want to create this underlying issue that it's unnecessary? That's just how I see it. So to an extent, I agree with what Daniel Jett said. You got to build it up. But I think the league now, it's starting with Caitlin and Angel Reese. It's starting to come a little bit more prominent, not necessarily on the level of the NBA, but you can see they're starting to make their mark now. So I would give them that. And hopefully, again, I'm a guy. I look at the glass half full. Even though my orange juice is almost gone, I still look at it half full. So I'm going to be optimistic about the WNBA and say, hey, this is going to be even greater for them 5 years down the road. So that's my piece.
I appreciate and I respect your optimism. I wish I could share it. I just like this rivalry is built upon like such low hanging fruit, bro. It's like,
yeah,
there's no, it's not even a rivalry, at least in my opinion. Because if I remember correctly, pretty sure Caitlin Clark swept the series, right, in terms of wins and losses.
I think so.
I believe so.
I don't have it ready.
We got our Tony Reality fact checker in the back. Maybe he can let us know. He can pull over and let us know. Sure. But it's like none of it's organic. I saw the word in the chat being repeated a couple times. It's not organic. They don't guard each other. I don't even think they're on each other's radar in terms of popularity, friendship, engagement, like any of it. Like, and quite frankly, like unless it's organic, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like a rivalry shouldn't be shoehorned into a league to increase ratings. But again, you know, in a capitalist society, you're going to do whatever you can to sell tickets. And I, the reason I don't share your optimism is because I was cool until I started looking up the rules in the WNBA in reference to like injury reporting. Um, and then I was looking up some facts about the Unrivaled League. And when you start to look at the through your point to your point the you know the trees through the forest, you start to see like, oh snap, like here's these things that are lining up that seem more of a coincidence, or more than a coincidence, I should say. So, for example, let me pull this real quick. I was looking at the betting odds of who was going to win Rookie of the Year, and as of, give me 1 second, I want to say September 1st, the odds were, give me one sec. Probably should have had this ready, but I didn't. That's on me. Bear with me a moment. Oh, okay. Caitlin Clark, minus 3,000, 96.77% implied probability that she'll win Rookie of the Year as of September 1st.
Yeah.
And Angel Reese disclosed her injury, what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Right? And she did so on social media, right? Typically, I'm saying typically, most teams have to report injuries in the WNBA. That's a rule.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's any rule attached to reporting out your own injury on social media, which I think is like shady no matter who does it. I said it was shady when LeBron was talking about his ankle and the LeBron of ankle injury, doctor bullshit and all that. But the team still has to report that. And it's weird to me, and I have the clip of her getting hurt. It's weird to me that her squad never came out and said anything. And as far as I know, they still haven't said anything. Every update has been via Angel Reese's social media, albeit her directly, which I think is cool. I think that's a ballsy move because she could have just had somebody come out and say it for her. But it didn't seem to go the natural way of how these things are done. And the Unrivaled League starts January 25th, right? And she said that she had a hairline fracture. Hairline fracture is minimum 4 weeks in a cast. Okay, we're in September. If I'm her team, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you're hurt now, hang it up for the rest of the season, but you're about to go play in this Unrivaled League that starts in January, which, by the way, has a component that's a 1-versus-1 league to determine who's the best 1v1 player in the world. So let's say Angel Reese takes part in that. All right, now what? So now you're in this league that does pay its players like 250 grand a year, which is the league maximum. So I wouldn't be mad at it. Like, get your money while you can.
Yeah.
But it's shady. All of it's shady. And it's the dominoes are kind of like falling exactly how you would expect them to fall if this were a movie, if this were an athlete we didn't like, if this was any other situation where you remove the race from it, where you move the politics from it, you'd be like, oh, this is kind of shady. But we don't do that, right? So that's kind of my thing. It's more than a coincidence. That's how I feel.
No, I agree. I wasn't aware of this rival league. So is this something that's similar to like the Big Three, or cause...
It's 3v3. Hold up, let me pull up some of these numbers here.
So who's presiding over this league?
And I spoke incorrectly. I apologize. It is a 5v5, 6 teams. League will be located in Miami. 30 players total. Let's see. Each season, 8 weeks. We'll run 8 weeks. Goes during the off season of the WNBA. Average salary is $250,000. Actually, which is almost 100,000. It's over 100,000 more than the league average in the WNBA. So get your money. But it's player driven. Each player that's in the league takes equity in the ownership, which is fantastic, right? So these are things that if I'm an athlete, I would openly take this over the WNBA. And Angel Reese and her camp need to think about whether or not she wants to play in this league in January, because that's going to have heavy implications for the rest of her public perception. And if she cares about her career, and I'm sure she does, because she recants and she tweets and then she doesn't back it up and she apologizes. She's sensitive just like anybody else. So she needs to think about that before she joins this league. At least that's just my opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean, without a doubt, like that's just a human, aspect.
Sure.
Like, yeah, we're gonna have feelings and emotions, but I would say this: a lot of things, you have to already plan ahead. Like, okay, I I'm not questioning the severity of the injury, but seeing that if it's something that could be reoccurring, then yeah, I could see that. Okay, you may get backlash from this. However, if you just put forth this, and I'm just saying this as a suggestion, hey, I love the game. I love the game, right? Then I don't think nobody can question your passion, but like you said, you got the naysayers out there that are like, oh, you couldn't do this, but you can go play in this league, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you're just going to have them anyway. I mean, you're not going to please everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. But I just feel like if you're being completely genuine, you're operating from a place of good faith, then hey, screw what people think. So that's just
Is
me.
that no? Oh no! Listen, and is that how you feel? Do we disagree about her injury?
No. I don't disagree with the
Okay.
injury. Because I believe, like, hey, she legitimately is hurt. So if she's sitting out, of course you want to take that time to allow the
Oh, we do.
injury
So
to.
we do disagree. Okay. No, we
Oh, so
disagree then.
oh,
Oh
so
yeah,
wait, you don't think she's injured?
I think she's hurt. I'm sure she's hurt, but I think it looks a lot better on a stat sheet 10 years from now that her rookie season she averaged 13 and 13.
Gotcha. Wait, let me clarify one thing because this is from the military. If she's hurt, she can still play, but if she's injured, she's unplayable. So which one do you
Oh.
feel like it would
Well,
be?
let me here. I'm gonna read the. She had a quote based on her injury. I'm gonna read this verbatim. And then you tell me how you feel because I don't want to swing you one way or the other. I have my own thoughts that I'm gonna share after I get done reading it though. All right. So she said basically the doctors told me that I could either not have surgery or have surgery. The risk of not having surgery, I could literally have arthritis at 22 years old. I had arthritis at 22 years old. Not that bad. That wasn't an option. Continued Reese. The bone could literally crack and completely shatter. Right now, it's like a hairline, but they're going to put like a small little screw in it. And I wasn't going for it to get any bigger. And long term, I literally could have not played anymore because this is a very hard place to heal. All right. I try not to. Damn. Fuck it. I'm gonna give my opinion. Like I'm not prefacing nothing. To me, I feel like when you use the word literally more than once in a statement, you're full of shit to an extent.
I see what you mean. Okay, okay.
I think in there's a psychology behind it. I think that if you're doubling down on something, um, you're overcompensating just a bit, which
Yeah,
means that there could be some exaggeration. Um, I think that if you're gonna quote if you're gonna let somebody quote yourself, you can't leave room for interpretation. Now,
yeah,
granted, she's only 22. Like, that's a child. She probably doesn't have a lot of public what is it public
yeah. PR training.
thank you, PR training, right? But damn, like, somebody should be in her camp being like, one way or the other, you have to take a strong stance
Yeah, it's
on either
almost.
side. This is wavering. This is fence riding, in my opinion.
Yeah. So this is what it takes me back to two things. When I was in college, right, and I applied for this specific job that I won't name, but they had categories, right? You agree, somewhat disagree, strongly agree.
Right.
Now, I'm saying that because they give you these options, like you said, just to see where you stand. And if you take somewhat agree, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe what is somewhat? It's 70%, is it 65%, or is it 45%? But when you
Right.
strongly agree, now you're taking a definite stance versus if you strongly disagree, right? That was, I would say, the method that they would use that benchmark to kind of gauge your mentality. Now,
Of course. Right.
next step, I remember a particular player who claimed he basically had a broken hand after
Basically.
9 days after this alleged incident happened. But you know what I find that's funny? You basically have a broken hand, yet you were doing you were seen doing push-ups before game 2. You threw yourself a self alley-oop in game 3, and I mean, you dunked it with so much ferocity. It's like, wait, you got a broken hand? Not only that, but right after you get swept, you're doing this little bap, 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 bap handshake with your sons.
Exotic
And
ass
then
handshake.
shout out to AOH because he pointed this out. Right after game 1, this alleged broken hand, yet you pulled a chair out. No wincing, no grabbing at it, just there's no type of behavior of a broken hand. And you sit down, but 9 days later, all of a sudden you have a cast on. See, like you said, literally, basically, yeah, that's those buffer words to say, yeah, I'm
Period
dealing
with a
with
T.
this. Can you believe me? And it's like, no, you don't have any credibility. So I do see what you're saying now. I didn't know that the word literally was being used. So now that's kind of making me reconsider my assessment. Like,
Do you feel like I'm reaching by saying that? Like, is that a reach?
I don't, because that is a part of psychology, and that is, I would say, a way to give yourself an out, right? Hey, I
Yeah.
didn't win Rookie of the Year, but I basically had an injured shoulder. You either have an injured shoulder or you don't. There's no in between.
So, okay, to piggyback off that, I'm gonna try to share my screen. Speaking of dapping people up and doing push-ups and all that, I'm gonna try to share my screen because I have the injury. I gotta turn all my weird porn off. Hold on, close this shit out. All right, we're good. All right, let me try to share my screen, and let me know if you see anything on your end. Share. All right, can you see what I see? Can the people see what I see? That's a deeper question, I guess.
Okay.
It says I'm screen sharing.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna try to play this. Let me know if anything shows up on your side.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So just peep this. She's moving to the paint right now, and this is a dope pass. This is a dope play. Look at the cut. Great cut. Clean layup. All right, so that's where she fell, right?
Yeah.
Watch. Which wrist did they say it was?
Wait, I thought it was a shoulder. Is it not a shoulder?
I thought it was wrist. Pretty sure it's wrist.
Okay.
And if it's her right wrist, that's even wilder because she slashed the ground hard as heck. So peep the play, or peep the after the play. My bad. No wincing.
See, that's my thing. If you're legitimately injured or hurting, you're gonna be favoring that shoulder or the wrist, whatever it is that's supposed to be hurt. Now, if you're out there doing it, see, that's the thing. Like, you can't fake the injury and still want to wince and do all this. Prime example, this other culprit, right, in the 2010 Eastern Conference semifinals, when they played the Chicago Bulls. Explain to me why this dude took a left-hand layup. Now that you're up by 4, all of a sudden why are you taking a left-handed layup?
Right.
Nobody heard about this alleged injured elbow until you defeat the Chicago Bulls. I'm not understanding it. Then you go against the Boston Celtics, and game 1 you play amazing. All of a sudden, game 2, now you're wincing with this. Like, what? I feel like when people fake injuries, it's a lack of integrity. It's a character flaw, and you have no credibility because it's like you're willing to resort to faking an injury rather than just facing the music or whatever it is that's going to happen. I don't understand.
To avoid coming off as having a bias, can you think of another player that we've seen pull up, and not LeBron, not Angel Reese, because we both know how we feel about LeBron. Outside of those two, outside of LeBron, really, because this Angel Reese thing's brand new. Can you think of another player that you've seen have an injury that you're like, yo, that doesn't seem straight up?
Uh, Not right off the top of my dome. I don't. And I'm legitimately thinking like, who has been accused of faking an injury in any other sport? I'm trying to
I
think
can't
in
think of
football.
anything.
No, help me out because I'm quite sure somebody in football has done this before. I
Linemen
would.
do it. Linemen do it. They fake injuries to buy time.
Well, yeah, of course. So. mm,
What's up, Uncut?
I don't know. I really just can't think of anybody. Like I literally, I'm gonna have to do research. Just like you said, because I want to be consistent. Because I can't think of anybody right now. Like not even baseball, not soccer. Um, do you think Noah Lyles was legitimately hurt?
I do. Um, and I used to not like him just kind of based on his whole um stance on basketball players not being the best basketball players in the world. But I can't disagree with dude because he's the definition of a world champion,
Yeah.
and I'll never argue that ever. Um, so I'd have to say that was probably legit, but there's pieces of his character that I do disagree with. Um, and actually, I'm seeing in the private chat that we should try to. Thank you. Looks like someone I think shared it in the group chat. Repost in the. I think we may need to reshare that Angel Reese injury video because I think only you saw it. Um,
Oh,
so
okay.
I think if I'm interpreting what Dart is saying correctly, so um, he was saying that if I share it to you and then you share it as if it was like the link itself, everybody should see it.
He said no. He said everyone saw it.
Oh, he did. Okay, perfect. I thought he said, "Oh, it was all good." No,
Oh, what's
everything
up,
was.
Uncut?
I'm trying to read it like he reads the Michael Jordan fans are the best thing. Okay, perfect. All right, that's good. So we both play basketball. We both played sports. When that adrenaline's pumping, it's easy to get up off the ground and get through that initial injury. I broke my hand twice, and in both games, I stayed in. But that first break, I knew it was broken. I knew it was
Yeah.
broken because the play after I went to make a full court pass, and like I could feel my arm just like my hand just like disintegrate. Like it was just like mush and jelly in there, and I knew it. And I set myself out immediately. Now, that's me. Um, but have you ever had a fracture or an injury along those lines where you were good until you found out you weren't?
So I would say the most devastating when you suffer an ankle sprain, right? The first
Mm.
thing they tell you to don't take your shoe off, just tighten it up, and stay on it because you want to prevent the swelling. Now, I say that because the first time I had an ankle sprain, not knowing any better, immediately took my shoe off. I mean, ankle
Mm-hmm.
swole up, and it was horrific, right? Horrific. Now, the second time I had an ankle sprain, I kept my shoe on. I tightened it up, and I stayed on my feet. Now, what I will say is that necessitated the recovery time a lot faster because now if you tighten, it's like you're applying pressure, so you're not allowing it to swell. I'm staying on my feet, so now I'm staying warm. I'm staying active. So what I did was even when practice was over, I just kept my shoe on. I just like, no, I'm gonna keep it on here, just keep ice, keep the shoe on, and I waited until maybe 3 hours after the fact, trying to make sure I let the swelling go down, took my shoe off, soaked it in hot water, and that pretty much was my regimen for the next 3 days because we had our opening game, and I wanted to be ready. That's just one thing about me. I don't want to be the one sitting over here in street clothes. So when you're suffering, I would say an injury that debilitating, you definitely can't fake that. Now, um, the ones like I would say upper body, shoulder, elbow, wrist. I mean, put it like this. Let me ask you: how many times you had a jam finger, either catching the ball or going up
bro.
for a rebound.
Look at my hand, bro.
Right,
Like that's not how a hand is supposed to look.
right,
It's not
right.
supposed to be like
Now
4
mine,
goosenecks and a thumb. You
now
know what I
mine
mean?
looks, mine look fairly normal, right?
Right.
And
So,
I'm
so
thinking,
you're saying my hand is fucked up?
no, I'm not saying yours. No, not at all, not at
Barely
all,
normal.
not at all. The reason I'm saying it is because, yo, those finger jams come at the most worst
Ooh,
times. Like
yo.
you least expect, and it's like, you want to just drop that F bomb, and it's like, so when that happens, oh man, I can stay in the game, but it's like you got to push through it because it's like, okay, if you come out, all right, cool, get it taped up. But I'm like,
Ooh.
even with a jam finger or whatever, like, hey, I think me, even at this stage, is more effective than a backup coming on the court, and I would say offsetting the chemistry, because
Oh,
if
that's
the
interesting.
play isn't ran for me, okay, I know I can make the pass. But if it's a play where I would probably take the shot, I probably would defer, to the second or third option because it's like I know right now I can't shoot this ball. If that's my left hand, I'm good because I'm right-handed. But no, man, no, ooh, it's just
But
taking me
bro,
back.
how many times I didn't play football as much as I played basketball, but how many
Oh yeah,
times have you tried to take a pass from somebody in basketball, went to get the pass, and your middle finger, this is the ball, right? And your middle finger just does one of these, and it goes in a direction you didn't even think it could. And then you look at it, and it's like a big fat stomach on your hand. And there ain't and you grab it and you're like, oh, that hurt like a motherfucker. Like you said, just like that. And you try to do whatever you can to pull it out or whatever. There's no fixing it. And that's a jam.
yeah.
Now, granted, I'm made out of paper at 39 years old, so it's different. Like I twisted my knee in the shower earlier, and that was like an interior thing,
Yeah,
and my body's still bruised up. So I'm
yeah,
like reaching that senior citizen age where I'm getting like the age defying creams and like I'm getting weird bruises and shit. So it's different for me. I'm not a world class athlete,
for sure.
but how do you? I don't know. It's tough. It's the to me it's the LeBron broken hand thing all over again.
So,
Um, in my
so
opinion.
yeah, so I'm gonna address that. RC all I with Caitlin Fever Aces. Hey, salute. We see you. Slow Mo Gaming. Let's see. What is Slow Mo Gaming? Wish it was a superstar playing 82. I definitely agree with you, man. I don't understand these low management guys. It's an eyesore for the league. Um,
Who plays 82 games these days?
that's a good question. I don't think Steph Curry because I mean, he did. I won't say a bevy of injuries, but he has like those little knickknacks now and then. But
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't recall anybody playing 82. Like it's sad.
I know that when LeBron played all 82, there was like a top 10 play on ESPN or something.
One time in 20 seasons, ridiculous.
Right. That shit was in
But
CNN. They were like LeBron James to play all 82 games. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
What's up? What's up? We see you. Um, let's see. Just looking for any more of the chats. I think there's some of them are having their own conversation. So chats, we sincerely appreciate the interaction. Now, as far as me, I had that injury not in basketball. Quiet as kept. I had that injury more often in football. Now, I would have that either tackling someone or guarding someone, but it was very seldom that when I would catch a pass, I would have that jam finger because I always wore gloves. I wanted to be like, of course, my last name is Sanders, so who you think I want to be like? Prime time. If I look good, I flee good. If I play good, I get paid good. I feel good. All that, that mantra. So
Sunglasses make sense now.
yes. So it rarely happened to me, I would say, on the offensive side. It more so happened to me on the defensive side. So I know what that feels like. And man, that is nothing to play with. What did Drake say? He was like a sprained ankle. I ain't nothing to play with. Like, man, I hate those jam fingers, man, because it's just but I know one time in basketball, I kind of bent my wrist back trying to brace myself for a fall.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't pleasant. It kind of had the thing wrapped up for about 3 days, just ultra tight. couldn't really do anything but just regular little mental reps dribbling with my left hand.
That's it.
So
Keep
I've
it, yeah,
dealt with them,
keep it
and
loose.
yeah, I would just say to me, I think it takes the esteem off people who are legitimately injured, right? When you have to go out there and fake it. I just don't like it. Like, okay, let me ask you this. Let me not to digress. Do you
No, no,
believe
yeah, yeah.
do you believe Kawhi Leonard was legitimately injured when he set out with the Spurs, or do you think he just didn't
No,
trust the organization? It was like, okay, you know what? Y'all want to question my integrity? F y'all, I'm gonna sit out till I get traded.
nah. I think that was just a clash of egos.
Yeah,
I think he had his own medical team, right?
yeah,
And he didn't trust the Spurs. Because not that the Spurs were doing right by him, because I mean they were shady and a lot of that stuff too. But no, I don't think he was hurt the entire time. I don't think Paul George hurt the entire time. I don't think most players are hurt the entire time.
yeah,
Especially these days. I think a lot of players sit out as bargaining chips, as insurance to show, hey, like, yo, like when we sit out, the numbers aren't there in terms of audience, right? So you guys need us for better or for worse. Like, you know what I mean? Paul George's dad was just in the news talking about how his squad screwed them. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, Paul George makes astronomical money. And granted, he had one of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen.
yeah.
But I don't think that he played as much as he could. And I think a lot of that was on circumstance. I think to your point about injury, it's the same to me as mental health.
Yeah,
I think that the majority of us deal with some fucked up stuff in our head. I think the majority of us, especially black folks, keep it to ourselves for fear of being demonized
yeah.
or or made fun of, right? I think Ben Simmons, the second that man spoke about mental health, and I don't give a shit. Yo, they should have kicked his ass out the league because he
I
didn't have
agree.
anything to say about mental health
Prior to that,
until prior to that pass
yeah,
in the paint. And now all of a sudden, yo, it's difficult, it's tough. And we live in a time where you can't say that out loud. I, every talking head on TV wanted to say, like, yo, Ben Simmons is full of shit. But they talked around it
yep,
because you can't say he's full of shit, even though, like, I'll be damned, like, yo, I feel like my mental health is gonna be just fine if I'm a dude that's rotated amongst the Kardashian sisters and I'm making billions of dollars, uh, just Australian suave dude, right? So I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing Paul George had to deal with these mental health issues in the bubble. I'm not hearing about LeBron having PTSD from the bubble. It's just it's whenever we want to take a break, we just say mental health day, and that takes away from the folks that like yo, if I'm if I'm going through something, if I'm gonna kill myself, if I'm suicidal, I'm not posting about it. I'm gonna just do it, right? Like I hate to be that heavy, but if I'm that hurt, if I'm that bothered, I'm not telling everybody about it.
no, you're right.
Especially if I have access to all these
Yeah,
resources that
yeah,
most broke ass Americans, including myself, don't have access to.
yeah.
World class medical help, mental help, physical help. So I'm not hearing that. Um, to your points about just like where all this stands. Hold on. And there was something in the chat I wanted to address. Hold on. It had something to
Hey,
do
what up,
with
man? Down, I see you.
what up, man down. It has something to do with along. Hold on, let me see. Hold up. It was along the lines of like, yo, the WNBA isn't just Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, right?
Yeah,
And if they're not careful, they're going to be in the same position the NBA is in, with only having really LeBron to stand on in terms of fandom and audience.
yeah,
Now they're pigeonholed into this just, well, there's really only one megastar, and that's LeBron, whether you like him or not. He is the face of the league, and that's because they invested so much into just one person. Well, now the WNBA is really just investing into two people, and they're at risk of losing one of them to the unrivaled league.
yeah,
So it's like, yo, like you better look at the forest for the trees, to your point, and maybe pull some of this back because you have world-class athletes, whether they're male or female, that can heighten your product. And you're basing that product on race and bullshit and drama. So what happens? What happens when the audience checks out? What happens if Angel Reese never plays another game? Okay, well now you're losing a big part of your audience because no one's gonna give a shit. You know what I mean? Is Dawn Staley gonna come back and play against Caitlin Clark?
Hell no.
No. You know what I mean? So you better think of something quick.
So
I digress.
so the point that you mentioned about the face of the league now, I understand. Yes, LeBron is the face of the league. However, I don't think he's the most popular player in the league. I still legitimately see Steph Curry being the most popular player. This is why. Look at what particular player, how the game is being played, right? So let's go back to Michael Jordan. Once Michael Jordan started winning, what type of players did you start to see start to permeate the league? You saw those 3 guards, hey, I'm going to get the ball at the elbow, ISO, what I call the hero type basketball, which you have to have the right player for that system to work. So if we look at the Vince Carters, the Tracy McGrady's, the Allen Iversons, Ray Allen with the Milwaukee Bucks, D Wade in Miami, the Carmelo Anthonys, and kept just all of those, right? Well, there's only 2 guys who actually won with that style of play. It's Kobe Bryant, it was Dwayne Wade. Now, the only difference is they had adequate big men to assist them in that endeavor, right? The league today, what is everybody doing? Shooting the long ball. Well, who are they getting that from? They're getting it from Steph Curry, but watch this. The godfathers of that style of play were the Dallas Mavericks because they won. See, I can't give it to the Suns because they didn't win. The Dallas Mavericks actually ushered in a new style of play when they went on that 2011 run. Granted, they swept my guy Kobe and the Lakers. Hey, cool deal. But when they went up against the super team Miami Heat, nobody gave them a puncher's chance. The Miami Heat were the overwhelming favorites, right? They destroyed them with ball movement, floor spacing, and timely shooting and playing. I want to say they were playing good to great defense because I don't think they were great defensively that entire series. But when they needed to be great, they could be great. So you take what the Dallas Mavericks did, okay. Then we fast forward to who? San Antonio Spurs. Ball movement, floor spacing, and methodically out-executing you. Then you get to the Golden State Warriors. You have all of these guys emulating Stephen Curry, like Dame. Like I feel like Dame Lillard is like if Steph Curry's Batman, Dame Lillard is like the Joker or Two-Face. Like he's the polar opposite. Like he wants to be the other side, right? And I look at it like, Dame, you're not Steph Curry. Stop selling for so many threes. Take some mid-range shots. We get it. You can shoot from the half-court line, but that's not what the team needs. And clearly you're not winning with that style of play. But then you look at Trae Young. He wants to emulate Steph Curry. I mean, this was shocking to me. Jason Tatum was taking 8 threes per game in the playoffs. Like, bro, you almost 6'10". Why are you not playing in the post? That's my thing. Now, I would give Kyrie Irving his due. He's not taking those half-court shots. But Kyrie Irving is kind of like, I don't want to say he's a version of Steph Curry because he can do similar things that Steph Curry does, but he also does different things as well, which I feel like they're the same, but they're also different. But you got everybody trying to shoot the 3 now. And it's like, okay, well, Steph Curry is great at that, but everybody else is kind of like, okay, yeah, you can shoot, but you're not shooting it to the degree that Steph Curry is shooting. You're not at his level of proficiency. So Steph Curry to me is the more popular player. Everybody wants to shoot 3 like him. His jersey is always like the top selling jersey. And since 2015, he's garnered the most ratings. Any Golden State game, must see TV because you don't know what he's going to do. But I get it. The media wants to market one guy, yet the people are looking at somebody else. So no, I see the dynamics at play there, and I agree. If they don't like quell this or attempt to kind of tone this down, yeah, I think they're gonna start losing viewership because if you let it go on for so long, it's kind of like, okay, so y'all just want to just let this just be what it be, do whatever.
Right, like it's a quick buck. Like it's a microwave deal, right? It's like, yo, all right, we're gonna ride this wave for a few years, and then like we'll take what we can get, versus
Yeah,
having a lasting product built upon a solid foundation.
yeah. Um,
Um, what was I gonna say?
just no, I was gonna say real quick. Do you still
Yeah,
have
yeah,
the
go
link?
ahead.
I was gonna drop it in the comments in about 5 minutes and take some callers if you were good with that.
Oh yeah, yeah, please, please, because I'm seeing some stuff in the chat that I was hoping to get some clarification on. Kennels referenced Caitlin Clark being like Tiger Woods, and I was gonna ask for some expansion on that.
Um,
Um,
do you have the link
yeah,
or
I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna
okay?
put it in the little private chat real quick. Hold up.
Okay, cool deal, cool deal. But yeah, finish your point though, because
Um, well, I was just looking for some clarification on that. I didn't agree or disagree, but I thought it was an interesting point. Um, just kind of based on audience. Because listen, if Caitlin Clark gets a chip, it's going to be hard to argue if this is a rivalry or not. It's kind of
yeah,
like the like Dame is an interesting um example, because like, yo, I'm not gonna front. When Portland was playing like OKC in the final, or actually really just when Dame was going up against Westbrook like every year in the playoffs, I'm like, yo, this is so fun to watch. It's just two competitors going at each other, two like kind of diehards. But after Dame started hitting a lot of them threes, them Dame time threes, I kind of felt like Buddy just, I don't know, it seemed more about Dame time, right? Like more about branding
yeah,
than it did winning, because him and Milwaukee should be unstoppable. I don't, you know what I mean? Um, and he's another one, Dame, that he complained every year about not having help in Portland, right? But
yeah.
it's like, bro, you make $53 million a year.
Right.
If you just give up 10 of that a year, maybe you can sign somebody stronger than CJ McCollum.
I mean, not only that, but he could take less because you're going to make it back in endorsements. You got a shoe deal, so
Right,
you're in commercials. I mean, I'm just
right,
thinking like if you're really serious about winning, that's my thing.
right. And I mean, don't take a public stance that you're serious about winning if you're not going to take the steps to do that. It's like when they said LeBron sacrificed part of his contract, but $3 million. All right,
Right.
cool.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of sacrifice.
That's a sacrifice.
Did you drop the link?
Oh, my fault. I got so distracted on the soapbox I was on. Hold on.
No, you good. I was gonna just see what some of the callers
Here
wanted to
we
say.
go. Oh yeah, let's definitely take callers, because there's people in the chat saying I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. So I love the interaction. I just posted it in a little private dip.
Yeah, I'm. Let me see. Let me copy it. If I can, let me see. Print save.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You got it? Word. Okay.
Copy. All right. Paste.
And to be honest, I'm kind of at the point where you can start taking callers now. I mean, that's kind of, we've been at this for almost an hour, and I feel like I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Especially with this being our first episode, I would never want to, just run it until it's dry.
Yeah. So, chat, can y'all see the link? I just dropped it in the comments. If you can't, let me know. I will resend it. But I got a check mark and it says it's there.
Yeah, I see it on my end.
Okay.
And
Chat,
again,
if y'all,
shout out to Michael
y'all can
Jordan
see the
fans on
link,
the back.
give us some thumbs up and yes, shout out to Dart, host of Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best. We are taking callers, but while
All right,
they're
someone said they're trying to hop on right now.
Janet Kennels,
Yeah.
let me see. I don't see him in the back. No, I haven't got a notification. Let me provide the link again just in case because it. Hold on.
I can give a tour of my basement tent, I guess, while you're doing that. It's gonna be a quick tour though.
Okay, if you can see it, try tapping it and see if it'll let you in the background. Copy.
Oh, and actually, while you're doing that, I'm not a Stephen A. fan typically, but I am glad that he attempted to be like, all right, wait a second, where was everybody at? You know, when everyone was going to me and Shannon's neck.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I do appreciate that.
yeah, I think Dreamers Pro. He clipped that up. So shout out to him. Yeah.
All right,
Uh,
cool. Okay.
I don't tend to well I'll put it like this. There's some things I agree with Stephen A, but then I also can tell when he's playing the company line. But this particular time, yeah, I'm with him on this stance. So yeah, I give
Yeah, they had
Stephen A credit. But I
Molly
know
on
he's
there
gonna
going
let me
crazy.
down in the future. So my expectations are yeah.
They're saying in the chat, and Dart said you dropped the YouTube link, not the restream link.
Oh wait. Okay, so all right. Give me a second. Let me go to my email address.
And you know, for everybody in the chat saying like, "Oh, look, we're stupid. I'm stupid. We don't know what we're talking about." Just present an argument. That's all it ever is to me. Is all right, cool. It's like, well, why am I right? Oh, well, because I said so. Like, come on. Like, no. Like, let's talk about it. Chat about it. I think that's the one thing I like about being almost 40 is I can't give the emotional energy to even insult somebody about this.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I got to be awake in like 9 hours for work.
Okay, let me see
I'm
if I
good.
can go to YouTube and just drop it from there.
All right, cool.
Let's see.
Oh, shout out to All Gravy. Thank you. It's a good stream. Y'all touching every topic and not just the same old Jordan versus LeBron debate. Yo, that's a like seeing that. That's appreciated. Because we do try to give we're trying to branch out, and we certainly love the MJ versus LeBron debate because it brings out the best,
Oh, he
the
said it's
best
on
of
the
us.
dashboard underneath our faces.
But that's appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I gotta get back on restream because I'm forgetting all these minor little details.
Bro, you're good, bro.
Oh yeah. Here's the link right here. Okay,
There you go.
so copy, paste. All right, y'all got it.
I'll let you know. I don't see anything yet.
No, I just got the notification.
Oh,
Just
word. Okay. Did somebody hop in?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
YT hoops. Bam. All right. Hey yo, YT, can you hear us?
Oh, that's
Hey,
an interesting point. The Kamala
YT,
point.
can you hear us? It's hang on. Hey, YT, re-request. I tried to bring you in, but I don't know, it's like your screen was froze.
Sentinel's football channel. The only way for a sport to grow is to bring in a casual audience. I agree. I think that's it's. I mean, it's not the WNBA's fault. It's not Angel Reese's fault. It's not Caitlin Clark's fault. We just live in a time where drama sells.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Hey,
matter. It doesn't matter what the industry is.
hey, YT, try to re-request. For some reason, I saw you. I brought it, but the camera was froze. I don't know. Okay.
We got to start getting some merchandise.
For sure.
What's up,
All
guys?
right, what's up, YT?
Hey, what up? What up?
How's it going? I'm Janet Kennels, and that's my other channel.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no. So my thing is with Clark, Caitlin Clark. She reminds me a lot of Tiger because my dad was a big golf fan, so I was kind of watching golf before Tiger, right? And the Tiger effect, dude, it made people who just didn't give a shit about golf just like fall in love with it. And they were watching the sport and they found out the other players and they were enamored with it. But ultimately, it was all Tiger. And it's like cooking something, but there's a perfect recipe and you can't fit. Like, did it help Tiger that he was black? It did. But there were other black, not many, but there were a few, and they weren't superstars. It was everything. It was the look. It was the style of play. It was the way he spoke. It was him being handsome and young, how far he hit the ball, right? And I see a similar thing with Caitlin Clark. It's like, yeah, she's white, and it probably helps. There's other girls in the WNBA who are white, and they've been superstars for ages, right? So it's not only that. And I think there's just something about her that it just people are enamored with her style of play, and it makes people give a crap of the WNBA. But I think, like Tiger, when she's gone, we're going to see a major drop off. Because I don't know, man, there's been great girls in the WNBA for a while, and it's like I just don't see why people haven't cared about it. And I don't know. I think she's just a magnetic figure, but again, I still kind of think it's going to be a loss, like just not really all that popular when she's gone. That's just my thinking. But what do you guys think?
So let me ask, because I don't want to assume, but in a sense, are you saying that not the girl is talented? I'll give her that, but she also has the machine backing her and doing the dirty work behind closed doors.
She does. But you need that, right? Like so did MJ, so did Tiger, right? Like it all works, even like Angel Reese. Like Angel Reese is playing this card well. The media is pushing it, but like she's doing everything right to move it along, right? And like I'll say this, like let's say Diana Taurasi, who a lot of people consider one of the greatest players ever. Like I don't think if they gave her the same push, I don't think she's ever the same star that Caitlin Clark is.
That's interesting.
No, and again, I do see that because you got to look at the time frame when Diana Taurasi was, making her mark on the league. Well, number one, the media wasn't as prevalent as it is today, especially social media. So,
that's true.
Yeah, she was at a disadvantage, but I think that Caitlin Clark is coming in the right time, right space, and it's like, okay, now we can get behind this particular person. Like, hey, take us to the top. So yeah, I certainly get what you're saying. But what's your thoughts on this, Spain?
I want to ask a question to that. If Jason Williams, White Chocolate, if he was black, do you think he would be more or less popular in the NBA?
I probably wouldn't even know his name.
Really? Less?
Yeah, I mean, because he wasn't that good. If he was nice, yeah,
he was so fun to watch, though.
No, he was. I think Jason Williams, it was kind of a novelty. Like, look, he was fun to watch. He was cool. He was a redneck, but he kind of talked black. You know what I mean? Like, he was a weird guy. Seems like a hell of a nice guy, to be fair.
Yeah.
But nah, yeah, like if he just had that career of averaging like 8 and 5, I don't know. Like, I think he'd just be like, yeah, he was a good passer, or he had some cool plays.
Couldn't you say, though, that he was kind of the focal point of that Kings team, which at the time was with a boring-ass Vlade Divac, like kind of must-watch TV? Because Chris Webber, as great as he was, and he was great, he wasn't that fun to watch.
Oh,
but everybody tuned into Kings games.
See, I'm kind of a C-Web guy because my brother, like one of my first introductions to basketball was the Fab Five. My brother was reading the Mitch album book back in the day. He made me like get the shorts and stuff. So I've always been a huge C-Web guy. But like, yeah, I mean, he was. But I also like, it's also true that he didn't. They got a lot. Oh, buddy, they got a lot better after he left, man. I mean, Mike Bibby's just a better guard,
Yeah, I was gonna say Mike Bibby's a better player.
Yeah.
And he's half white, so you're kind of true. It's kind of right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He had a nice run at Miami. I think a lot of it, he was kind of a novelty player, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Who exits the league first? Clark or Reese? And why?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. That is a good question.
Can I give you my theory?
What do you think?
So this Unrivaled League is starting up, right? And even though Angel Reese hasn't committed to it on paper, she'd almost be crazy not to do it and not to do it full time. It's way more money. It's a shorter season, or excuse me, a less intense season, relatively speaking. And she can run it. She can be the face of that league.
True, but there's going to be a ton of pressure on her from her peers, from women who she looks up to stay in that league. And like, yo, you have to help build this with Caitlin. And also wondering about sponsors, because WNBA has a lot of sponsors, and like she may lose that if she goes over there. I'll be honest with you though, like I'm all for people doing that. Like I was hoping Caitlin Clark would have done the big three. Like I know it was kind of silly, but like I don't know, man. Like I'm cool with competition. Like I don't mind another league.
Oh no, I agree. I think that we've had the same setup sports wise my entire life. And there's nothing wrong with change. I mean, Ice Cube, nobody cared about the big three.
No, they don't.
and it's a thing now.
Yeah.
And if Angel Reese plays it right, she can be the face of that league. That league can become relevant. And now she's putting up numbers in a league that she's the face of that may gain her notoriety that she never would have gotten in the WNBA.
But do you think that Angel Reese can play? Like Angel Reese is an interesting case because like she is, I don't want to be like sex, like she's a pretty girl, right? And I think that's helped her, and she's got swag, people like her, but her style of play, it's kind of whack. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, could she be the face of the league? Like, I don't know, maybe she could develop because she has heart, she's tough, she rebounds. Like, I respect that. So if she really developed her post game, maybe, but like, if you're gonna be the face of the league, people have to be able to watch it,
But time has also proven that you don't have to be a great basketball player to be a focal point of the league.
You think so?
Yes. I think that, let me rephrase. You don't have to be a winner / champion to be the focal point of a league. Currently, and the WNBA is showing that because neither one of them are champions.
That's true.
In the context of professional basketball, at least. That's
true. But I think you got to be good. I mean, I would look more at like NBA just because we have a lot more data. Like if you're gonna be if you go back to like AI never won anything, and like I'm kind of an AI hater to be honest, but like he was awesome at basketball. Like wherever you put him, if you want to put him top 100, maybe I will put him top 50. Okay, he's still an all-time great player. I would say top 40 maybe.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, I just can't think of anybody who was like a real superstar who people love. Maybe Dennis Rodman, honestly. Like Rodman was like 6 points a game,
I'm going to give an example of a team real quick.
Yeah.
And this is also in response to DD Formair. Says Sacramento didn't become a legitimate contender until White Chocolate left. You are correct, but that's also not what I said. I said they were a must-watch TV. You don't. It's about what we see and what we can like digest, right? To your point, AI not a champion, right? But when the Lakers were running through the playoffs and it looked like they weren't going to lose damn near a quarter, let alone a game, that win for Philly was basically like a championship.
No, I watched it live. I was young. I remember staying up late, man. And I remember afterwards being so happy, but then being like, well, how could they possibly win another game, though?
Right.
I was right, because they didn't.
Right.
No, yeah, that was badass. But like, I don't know, man. On the other hand, I guess you could say like, it's kind of crazy how much mileage one player has gotten out of a decent playoff run
really
with AI.
Stepping over somebody.
Yeah, no, that was cool. But yeah, but AI was also great. I mean, he lead the league in scoring 3 times. He has an MVP. He's got an All-Star game MVP. So I kind of think scoring might be like if you're going to be the dude, I think you got to score.
Yeah,
you have to be able to score.
Okay. Man, that's such a good point about Angel Reese being the face of a league, because it's not pretty her brand of basketball.
And I feel like we've seen that style in WNBA for so long I mean, I know a lot of girls are more talented down low, but I'm like, yo, this girl's like my height and like, you know, kind of like breaking layups and stuff. And I think that's part of the Caitlin Clark thing where it's like, oh, damn, she shoots the ball like Steph Curry, you know, or she like passes like a legit point guard passes, you know?
Yeah.
But look, I'm happy to be wrong. Like, I hope if she does go, I would like to see her go there, get paid, and I hopefully the league does take off.
Hey, hold on, Jason the Kid. That's not me. Iverson is one of my guys, but I
don't think I said anything bad about Iverson.
No, I have to be objective though. I mean, yeah, he didn't win, but I mean that game one, it was phenomenal. But the rest of them, you know,
bro, that Iverson created a celebration that people still do now.
Oh yeah, yeah. The step
over is done now. And how long ago was that series?
You know what was cool though? He apparently didn't even like. He was just trying to like get out of the way, or he was just trying to like get over Tyronn Lue.
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue was giving him the business that whole up until that point.
Yeah. It's interesting because like he was so cool, he was so awesome, but he like wasn't a taunter at all. And it's interesting. He's so that play is so iconic. But yeah, I mean, dude, everybody loved AI. I think everyone like around our age, like, how could you not? He was just the man. Remember the shoes, the hair, the tattoos, his play. He was little. He could still dunk. Like everything about him was awesome. You had to love Allen Iverson.
David versus Goliath. You know.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. This is gonna age me. He retired. His last game wasn't with the Nuggets, was it?
No, I think he retired. He went back to
retire a Sixer.
Yeah, for that one season, and then he
so he got traded to Detroit, and then that was when the whole like, yo, I'm not coming off the bench thing. And then he went to, and I'm pretty sure he retired with the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a good example. Oh man, I should have thought of that. That's such a great example, because he's you can't call him a winner technically, but then it's gonna make you sound like a hypocrite.
Well, I mean,
because he's won.
He gave you everything he had. So
But see, this is where I kind of take issue with like I'm a Jordan guy, but I kind of take issue with like, I hear people say shit like that all the time. Like LeBron's a loser, Charles Barkley. I heard some Charles. I mean, like, I don't know, bro. Like LeBron, I'm not a LeBron fan. I don't like him, but like, yo, the guy's won 4 championships in the most competitive league in the world. Like, how could you call that person a loser? Like that's how I look at it. Charles Barkley had a Hall of Fame career. To me, like, that's a winner. You know, like I'm not trying to be like hey, everyone gets a trophy guy, but like, that's just the way I look at it. Like, it's a sport. It's a sport, bro. It's tough. It's a team sport. Like, I don't know. To me, you're a winner if you achieved at the highest level. But like, you know, some people win more, and we should take that into account. You know.
I agree 1,000%. This is something that I don't know, like, kind of digressing, but just since we're talking about it, I think the Hall of Fame should have different tiers. Prime example, like the NFL, how they have the top 100 and things of that nature. Like, you got the regular gold jackets, but I heard Dion say this. He has a red jacket. He has a blue jacket. I think the NBA should adopt that mantra. Like, if you're a top 75, I think you should have a different type of jacket. Like, it should stand out versus the guys who just get in, like
unless you're Anthony Davis, and then get the hell out the top 75.
Right. I would say like Chris Webber. Like, he's been up a lot of times, and then he finally got in. Okay, cool. But then it's like, okay, I can't look at him in the same light as I look at Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, or KG. You know, I think there should be tiers. Like Jordan, there should be tiers there. You know, that's just me though. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So I feel like you would get lost in the weeds with that a little bit. I think that the whole introduction of the top 75 players was honestly a waste of time. I think that this is just my opinion. It should be black and white. Like, yo, you vote who you vote. But the thing is like the people that vote, like, yo, they need to have like the curriculum that they use to make that decision needs to be reviewed clearly, because a lot of it is just based on public perception. Clearly. And I hate to bring up, this is old, but it's like, yo, How do you put Anthony Davis in any top list before Dwight Howard?
Thank you.
Now, I'm okay with it. I mean,
Back when it took place, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, Dwight Howard, so I took a few years off, maybe 4 or 5 years off, not watching basketball. And I remember coming back and hearing the way people talked about Dwight Howard, just being shocked. Like, whoa, this dude was amazing. And like, he's like a joke. I mean, unfortunately, for other reasons outside of basketball, like but his play too, like he's kind of a punchline today. And you're talking about a guy who was a bona fide superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, no question, dude. And deserved it. Like, he was great. But yeah, I mean, kind of fell off after he left Orlando.
Oh yeah.
He played
But
great.
about a 5-year run where he was just incredible, like absolutely incredible.
A specimen. Like
Yeah.
his dunk I hate to bring up the dunk contest as any sign of all-time greatness, but for you to do what he did in a dunk contest at that size, at that height, if I remember correctly, he was doing all that stuff before Blake Griffin was doing it in terms of contest dunks and big men doing it. And he doesn't get enough credit for that. He does not get enough credit for what he did in LA. It's wild that they didn't bring him back.
Right.
And again, he didn't take the game serious. I feel like kind of later on in his career, and he let Shaq get in his head.
If he took it seriously, he'd have been so much better. I mean, he never developed a post move. You know, think how good he'd be if he just worked his footwork. You know, if he had developed a baby hook,
yeah,
I don't know what that would have done for him.
Well, hey, he trained with Hakeem, but he just didn't retain. He didn't retain it.
I want to point out, because I know that I saw the thing that you're about to wrap it. I want to give real quick a shout out to where are we at? Somebody said something along the lines of the coaches should be the ones doing the voting, not the media. That's the realest shit I've seen in the chat today.
I agree.
I didn't even think about that. In my opinion, the media, which is, they shouldn't have any influence in voting of somebody's skill in terms of Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion. It should be the subject matter experts, which could be media, but I'd rather trust the coaches. I'd rather trust the people that are in the locker rooms, in the game, on the court. That's just my opinion. But I wanted to shout out, I think it was All Gravy that said that. It's the coaches, man. That's just, that's a solid point. I just want to throw that out there.
I don't hate that. One thing you were talking about the Hall of Fame, I would like a model closer to baseball where, like, you don't get, there are awesome baseball players that are not in. I mean, you know, the steroid stuff aside, but there are awesome baseball players that are not in. It's just, it's the absolute best of the best. And they have lowered it a little bit, unfortunately. But to me, it's like, dude, a guy who's like Michael Cooper, like, again, very good player. I get it. Hall of Famer, I don't know. Like, to me, no.
Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame for you?
No, I mean, I think he averaged like 9 for a career. He's a real good player, man. Maybe he's not a good example, right? Like, I just think there's a lot of guys in who, like, yeah, he was pretty good, you know?
Okay.
Chauncey Billups, I think, just got in. No disrespect, but Hall of Fame?
Chauncey Billups.
Now, Chauncey, he was a late bloomer, so I can somewhat see your point on that.
Also, Jason the Kid, putting Iverson over D Wade is blasphemy, and I can't.
Dude, that's crazy. Come on, man.
I can't stand D Wade. I don't like most things about him, but putting Iverson over him is nuts, in my opinion.
Listen, however much you dislike D Wade, I probably dislike him more, but I always try to be objective. He was so good, and he's really an underappreciated two guard. He really is. I mean, he's in those conversations amongst the, I don't know, top 3. I would put top 5 definitely. He was so good. Didn't have as much longevity, but, like, I don't know. I mean, he was great through the LeBron years.
Yeah. And there's people that say they put Harden above him. But I'm guessing that's like an age thing or a generation thing. Like, D-Wade's he's like...
Yeah, it's the millennials.
It's the person to put with him.
D-Wade. It's the millennials.
Yeah. But listen, I'm good. I wanted to get them things off my chest. I'm glad I put a face to the name. Kennel, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Yo, have a good night, all right?
Hey, same to you, YT.
Appreciate you, sir. So yeah, man, if you want to wrap this, bro, like I feel great about it. This could be a regular thing for me.
For sure.
Nobody cussed us out. Nobody made no anti-Semitic or anti-black jokes.
For sure.
All good, bro.
So just recapping of what we went over, the dynamic that the media is playing with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Neither one of us are for it. However, with the new information that I'm presented with, I have changed my perspective on Angel Reese. If you're hurt, legitimately be hurt. Don't say literally, don't say basic. And again, I'm only saying that because if you use these buzzwords, it kind of takes the credibility. It's like, hey, I have an injury and this is my time frame. Got it. So I'm gonna take your advice. She needs to get her PR team to get her on point because she may have misspoke. I'll just go out and say she could have possibly misspoke. Now, if your actions and your behavior is not on par with the injury, then yeah, I got to give you the side eye because it's like, okay, are you feigning an injury? I can't agree with that because again, that's a lack of integrity. That's a lack of character. So those were the particular things that we wanted to touch on. We kind of fell off into the whole AI. One of my favorite players that I did admire growing up. However, he can't be in that class with some other echelon guys who got to the mountaintop and put their flag down. So, hey, it's par for the course.
I think that's a great topic, though, to revisit where you have Iverson all the time. Because that's, man, okay. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that no more. Like, all right, cool. Yeah, just end it. Just end it.
I agree.
Before someone says something mean.
Hey, chat, we appreciate you all for, hanging in there with us for our first initial show. And, hey, we already have our topic for the next show, which will be where Iverson ranks all time. When we can get the time and date, we will put it out. And hopefully you all can join us again. Y'all have a great night.